Okay, so one of the critical parts that you have to make sure when you mount the pallet arm is you want it in the center of the print head, because the pallet arm has the ability to float right to left until you tighten the bolts. Especially when you're printing sleeves, pockets. If you're trying to print on a 4-inch pallet and you're printing a 3 3/4 inch print, well, a 1/16 of an inch right or left can really cause a distortion or even the print to fall off the edge of the pallet. So what we're looking to do is we've mounted our adjustable carpenter square. We want to find that center line, and we want to protrude that line, extrude it basically right up to this linear rail. And centering this line by moving the pallet arm right or left is what will get this completely in line. And up next we're going to show you the next phase of this. After we lock this one arm in, we're going to use that as our reference to set the others. Okay, we're back. Take a basic 6-inch carpenter square, 2 of them, take one off, slide it on, and what this does, it gives you the ability to set it, say a center point. In this case we're using 3 inches. You're able to set this as a center point. And this surface we're going to use to slip onto the pallet bracket. And the reason we're going to do this is we're going to take a punch, and we're going to use that 3-inch mark, and we're going to put a punch mark on our arm. Now the critical thing is the arm itself is not necessarily in the center. What we're interested in is where that pallet bracket slides on and off. So by using this, we can go ahead and set it just like that, as if it were the pallet in the same location, and then we can use our punch and place a punch mark right in the arm. Okay? Now this punch mark is now a permanent mark to show us our center line. Then what we're able to do, we can bring the head to the front, we can lower our squeegee down, and you'll notice I've taped on a ruler here, and this ruler uses the same 3-inch mark which lines up with the punch mark. And this is how we're going to establish the next arm and the next arm, so that every arm comes up against our ruler and we are able to move it before we tighten the bolts in the back. We can move it right to left and establish that center line. So when you're printing, as we talked about before, when you're printing sleeves or pockets and you're trying to print right to the edge of a 4-inch pallet as an example, that you don't find that your images are shifting right to left. Okay, so at this point you'll notice that we have right to left movement in the arm. So we want to set it at 3 inches, but we also want to control the height of the arm, because it's very important that we get the arms roughly in the same height so we don't have brackets that are out of adjustment considerably optically. So what we try to achieve is center line is priority 1, and also rough height is priority 2. And you can go ahead and tighten the first bolt for us. And as they tighten the bolts, you're working with a helper. You want to watch this mark to make sure that the mark isn't drifting, because sometimes as you tension the bolts, the arm might shift a little. Okay, now that we have all of our print heads linear, we have all of our pallet arms centered, now we're going to teach you how to get all of your pallets completely parallel for your printing.